All right, let's dive into one of the most talked about stories shaking up the NFL right now. The saga surrounding Terry McLaurin and his future with the Washington Commanders. So here's the big news. McLaurin has officially put in a request to be traded. That's right, the wide receiver coming off an impressive all-pro season has told Washington that he wants out. But hold on, that doesn't automatically mean he's headed somewhere else just yet. This is a classic agent move, a chess piece being played carefully to gain leverage. McLaurin has been at training camp, showing up every day, but he's been holding back on participating fully. He's around in the building, but it's clear he's signaling he wants a change. And at 29, nearly 30 years old, this is a critical moment in his career to make that push. Washington, on their side, is in a tricky position. They want to be smart about it. They don't want to rush a decision that could cost them dearly. They're trying to gauge the best time to cash in on a player with a high price tag and still valuable skill set. The quarterback situation complicates things too, because McLaurin's value is tied heavily to who is throwing him the ball. And Washington has a young quarterback on a rookie contract, which means their window to capitalize might be limited. Now, the Patriots come into the picture as the front runner, or at least the most favored landing spot outside of Washington. Why? Because New England has both the cap space and the assets that could make a deal work. They could potentially offer draft picks and a hefty contract to bring McLaurin to Foxborough and pair him with the likes of Stephon Diggs and Jacoby Myers, creating one of the more formidable receiving corps in the league. But here's the thing. It's a lot of money for a player on the cusp of 30, and the Patriots have already dipped into their salary cap with their recent deal for Deebo Samuel. So the question really becomes, is this the splash move that pays off long term, or does New England double down on developing the talent they already have in-house? There's no doubt McLaurin is a top-tier talent and would immediately elevate the offense, but there's also risk involved with investing that kind of money in a player at this stage of his career. The tension is palpable, and the back-and-forth negotiations could drag on for some time. But if a trade does happen, the Patriots look to be in the pole position to make it a reality. Switching gears a bit, there's some interesting developments happening on the Patriots wide receiver depth chart. One of the newest updates is the return of Matt Hollander, who recently came off the physically unable to perform list and participated in practice for the first time in his career during training camp. While it wasn't a full contact day, seeing him out there with the starters and interacting with the team is a positive sign. Hollander seems poised to compete for one of the top receiver spots, which could shake up the current lineup that features Stephon Diggs, Jacoby Myers, and Kendrick Bourne as the established starters. Hollander was seen practicing with the first group alongside those guys, which suggests the coaching staff sees him as part of that core rotation moving forward. On the flip side, veterans like Kendrick Bourne are fighting hard for a spot on the roster, but it's becoming clear the Patriots are leaning towards younger, more explosive talent. Bourne has been a solid contributor over the years, but the team's depth at receiver is pushing the competition to a new level, and not everyone is guaranteed to make the final 53-man roster. Jalen Polk and Javon Baker are also in the mix, with Polk showing flashes of promise during practice and Baker still trying to find consistency after some drops in training camp. The battle for the last few receiver spots is heating up, and it will be fascinating to watch how this shapes up as the preseason progresses. One dark horse to watch closely is Afton Chisholm, an undrafted free agent out of Eastern Washington who has caught the eye of the coaching staff, especially offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. Chisholm brings that versatile slot receiver skill set that McDaniels loves. A player who can run crisp routes, create separation, and contribute on special teams. In fact, Chisholm has been praised for his ability to contribute as a gunner on punt, coverage, and in return duties, which boosts his value significantly when it comes to making the roster. McDaniels even shared a game tape of former Patriot Danny Amendola with Chisholm, highlighting the traits he wants him to emulate. That kind of mentorship could be crucial for Chisholm's development, and if he can continue to impress, he might just carve out a niche as the team's sixth receiver. Meanwhile, the defensive side of the ball has its own storylines unfolding. Christian Gonzalez, one of the team's promising cornerbacks, remains day-to-day with an injury to his left leg. The Patriots are playing it safe with him, not rushing his return for the early preseason games, which places added pressure on Carlton Davis. Davis, a free agent signing from the Detroit Lions, is expected to step up as the team's CB1 and anchor the secondary while Gonzalez recovers. Davis's presence brings a veteran leadership and stability to a unit that struggled with depth last season. And speaking of depth, the team has been impressed with DJ James, a defensive back who is showing the kind of versatility and competitiveness that could earn him a spot on the roster. James is making plays all over the field, competing with starters and showing he belongs at this level. His ability to cover some of the best receivers in the league and contribute on special teams makes him a player to keep an eye on throughout training camp and preseason. All of these moving parts, the McLaurin trade rumors, the battles in the receiver room, and the adjustments on defense set the stage for an intriguing offseason and training camp for the Patriots. As the preseason games draw closer, every practice and snap carries more weight. Coaches are zeroing in on who can deliver on game day, who fits into the scheme, and who has the potential to be a difference maker. Whether it's a blockbuster, trade, or a surprise breakout from a young player, the Patriots are clearly focused on putting together a competitive roster capable of making noise in a tough division. Football is back in full swing, and the atmosphere around Foxborough is electric. The fans are eager to see how all these pieces come together, especially with so much uncertainty at wide receiver and defensive back. The next few weeks will be crucial for the Patriots to finalize their roster, build chemistry, and set the tone for the regular season. Keep your eyes peeled for more updates, because this story is far from over. The drama with McLaurin could still explode into something huge. Or maybe the Patriots find hidden gems among the players fighting for those last roster spots. Either way, it's shaping up to be a fascinating chapter in New England's football journey. Now diving deeper into what all this means for the Patriots offense, especially at the wide receiver position. The potential arrival of Terry McLaurin would be nothing short of a seismic shift. We're talking about a player who has proven himself as one of the most reliable and dynamic receivers in the league, a guy who can take the top off a defense and create explosive plays at any moment. Pairing him with Stephon Diggs alone would give quarterback Mac Jones arguably the best wide receiver duo in the AFC, if not the entire NFL. The addition of McLaurin would instantly change the way opposing defenses game plan against New England, forcing them to spread out their coverage and opening lanes for the rest of the offense to operate. That kind of impact can't be overstated. It's the difference between being a solid playoff contender and a legitimate Super Bowl threat. However, there's the financial aspect that can't be ignored. McLaurin is expected to command a contract somewhere in the $30 million range annually, potentially with a third-year option. That's a major commitment from a team like the Patriots, who have traditionally been more cautious with big contracts, especially for players entering the latter stages of their prime. New England's salary cap situation has already been stretched by recent signings and extensions, including the notable investment in Deebo Samuel, who himself commands a significant chunk of cap space. Adding McLaurin on top of that raises questions about how the Patriots will manage the rest of their roster, particularly along the offensive line and defensive front, areas that also need attention. It's a classic dilemma. Do you pay up for star power at wide receiver and risk compromising depth elsewhere? Or do you focus on balance and development? Looking at the internal competition, Matt Hollander's recent return to practice is a welcome development. This young receiver showed flashes during his time on the roster and has the kind of physical tools that could translate into a more consistent role. His chemistry with Mac Jones remains to be fully tested in game situations, but his inclusion in the first-team offense during practice signals the coaching staff's confidence. Hollander's versatility, the ability to line up both outside and in the slot, adds a layer of flexibility to New England's offensive schemes. He also brings a certain youth and hunger that the team needs, especially if the McLaurin trade doesn't materialize or if the team opts to go more in-house with their receiving core. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers have begun to circulate around the New England Patriots camp, sparking intense speculation about the future of wide receiver Kendrick Bourne. Sources close to the team suggest that Bourne, a reliable target in recent seasons, may be pushing for an exit after reportedly rejecting a new role the coaching staff intended to assign to him within the offensive scheme. The murmurs first emerged when insiders revealed that Bourne expressed dissatisfaction with the Patriots' plans, allegedly feeling that the new responsibilities would limit his ability to showcase his talents effectively. While no official statement has been made, the tension seems palpable, with many insiders hinting at a possible trade request from the veteran receiver. This development comes amid a broader restructuring effort by the Patriots, who appear eager to revamp their offensive strategy following a series of mixed results last season. The potential departure of Bourne would leave a significant hole in the receiving corps, prompting questions about how the Patriots intend to fill the void left by such a dynamic player. Observers note that Bourne's role has been pivotal in stretching defenses and providing a reliable target for the quarterback, making his willingness to push back against the coaching staff's vision all the more noteworthy. As the Patriots navigate this precarious situation, fans and analysts alike are bracing for what could be a dramatic shift in the team's offensive identity. Rumors swirling around Kendrick Bourne's future with the Patriots have only intensified, as reports suggest that the receiver has grown increasingly frustrated with the team's offensive adjustments. Sources indicate that Bourne was offered a modified role that would have seen him shift away from his usual position on the outside and take on a more hybrid role, potentially involving more blocking and less pass-catching opportunities. The 28-year-old wideout, known for his agility and knack for finding open spaces in coverage, allegedly pushed back hard against this change, reportedly feeling that such a role would diminish his impact on the field. Industry insiders speculate that Bourne's reluctance could stem from a desire to maximize his value in free agency or seek a team where he can maintain a more prominent receiving role. There's talk that his representatives have already begun exploring potential suitors, indicating that a trade or release could be imminent if the Patriots stand firm on their offensive vision. Meanwhile, coaching staff sources remain tight-lipped, but the atmosphere around team meetings has been described as tense by insiders. Should Bourne depart, the Patriots may face a challenging offseason, needing to identify a new offensive weapon capable of stepping into a critical role during what is expected to be a competitive upcoming season. The possibility of Kendrick Bourne's exit from the New England Patriots has ignited a firestorm of discussion among NFL circles as teams quietly monitor the situation with keen interest. Bourne's dissatisfaction reportedly centers on the Patriots' plan to deploy him in a diminished receiving capacity, focusing more on supporting roles that don't align with his career ambitions or skill set. Analysts note that Bourne has demonstrated considerable versatility and resilience throughout his tenure with the Patriots, often making key plays in clutch moments. However, the current coaching philosophy appears to be shifting toward a different offensive dynamic that might sideline his strengths in favor of younger, developing receivers or tight ends who are expected to shoulder more responsibility. The intrigue surrounding Bourne's status has prompted several franchises to quietly reach out to his representatives, gauging interest and readiness to negotiate a deal. This development is particularly notable given Bourne's steady production and relatively affordable contract, which would make him an attractive acquisition for teams looking to bolster their receiving options without overspending. Although nothing is set in stone, the growing buzz suggests that the Patriots might soon face a difficult decision regarding a player who has become a fan favorite and dependable performer. Insiders speculate that Kendrick Bourne's reported resistance to a new offensive role with the Patriots could be indicative of deeper disagreements between players and the coaching staff regarding the team's direction. Sources hint at a brewing conflict that extends beyond just Bourne's position. Change, touching on broader themes of player utilization and team philosophy. Bourne's firm stance against the proposed role might signal a growing rift in the locker room, with veteran players pushing back against what they perceive as diminished roles or strategic shifts that undervalue their contributions. The Patriots, known historically for their adaptability and emphasis on team cohesion, may find themselves at a crossroads as they weigh the benefits of a revamped offensive scheme against the risk of alienating key personnel. Meanwhile, speculation is rife about which teams might emerge as landing spots for Bourne, with some insiders pointing to franchises in need of an experienced receiver capable of making immediate impacts in both the passing game and special teams. The situation remains fluid, with no guarantees as to how it will unfold, but the undercurrents suggest that the Patriots' offseason could be far more eventful than many anticipated, driven in part by the potential departure of a player whose presence has been integral to their offense. As the offseason approaches, the buzz surrounding Kendrick Bourne's possible exit from the Patriots continues to build, fueling debates across sports media platforms and fan forums alike. Experts weigh the ramifications of such a move, with many arguing that losing Bourne could disrupt the Patriots' offensive continuity and place additional pressure on emerging wideouts to fill the void. On the other hand, some analysts contend that Bourne's departure might open up valuable opportunities for younger players to step into more prominent roles, potentially accelerating the team's rebuilding efforts. The Patriots organization remains tight-lipped, fueling further speculation about whether a trade, release, or a compromise might be reached before training camp begins. Meanwhile, Bourne's camp reportedly remains firm on seeking a situation that better aligns with his ambitions and playing style, indicating that the receiver is willing to bet on himself in free agency if necessary. The unfolding saga has become one of the most closely watched off-season stories, with every new report analyzed for clues about the Patriots' evolving offensive strategy and Bourne's future in the NFL. Whatever the outcome, the rumors suggest that significant changes could be on the horizon for both the Patriots and one of their most versatile offensive weapons. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.